Well, welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I'm your host, Ray.
And I'm Evy.
And today we're talking about, today's, it's Star Trek Day, September the 8th. We've never done this before. In fact, I didn't know there was a Star Trek Day. I knew it was Star Wars Day, May the 4th. I don't know why the 8th of September was chosen to be Star Trek. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll Google that sometime, or I'll put it on some sort of description below. Okay. But today we're going to be reviewing Strange New Worlds. It is in Canada. It's on the Sci-Fi Network, and it's on Discovery, I believe it is, or CBS, or I guess Paramount, or Discovery, on the television in the United States. Well, we saw the first few episodes. So, what were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were of, wow, another Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And I found out that sometimes Star Trek actually show people that people in space and people in the world are pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. In that people in Star Trek died because they got killed when they gave the people in Star Wars sang the same tune, and that actually made the people in Star Trek wanted to stop that and get rid of the Star Trek because it was harming their cast. So that was the first thing that they had to take care of.
Okay. Well, I liked, thinking about what you started off with, I think Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, he made his sure that the people, the cast, were both inspirational and aspirational.
Okay.
I think there's always a positive message about humanity, and that's what they carry on in every incarnation. Mm-hmm. That in their future, we've settled our differences, and because there's a scene where Pike shows he's a mediator between these two nations, mm-hmm. these two cultures, and to prevent war. He goes, here we as Americans or whatever, humans, we had our own civil war and fought, and we brought us to the brink of destruction with World War III, and then mm-hmm. he showed prosperity ruled, prosperity happened after the fact. The worst of humanity could have been the January 6th Capitol riots, and the worst that we've come to blows and stuff. So I like the idea that we have to go through. Sometimes you have to play in the mud in order to see the rainbow. Mm-hmm. When it rains.
Yeah.
Well, I like the cast. I think. First of all, do you like the captain here, Captain Pike?
He's not bad. Nice
mm-hmm.
guy.
Yeah, I remember him. I'm a fan. I grew up watching the William Shatner Kirk. Mm-hmm. So Pike, I knew from the Cage episode where he's in the wheelchair and mm-hmm. he's sort of. And this is a spin-off from the Star Trek Discovery. Sort of events that happened in Discovery where the Enterprise was he was the captain of Discovery for a little bit.
Yeah,
and he saw his future, which was the Cage. I think that episode was called A Menagerie, mm-hmm. where he sees him being a husk of a human being trapped in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And that's, so if you're a fan of the 60s Shatner one, yeah. Christopher Pike, who was Kirk's captain, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You see what befall. So we as the audience know his future. He himself knows his future. Mm-hmm. So it's self-fulfilling prophecy. Mm-hmm. He knows that people who he helps, and he knows his destiny, and he's a man knowing his destiny is still going to go forward, and he knows he can't change it. Mm-hmm. But you might be able to change it. We don't know. They undid the Kirk with the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. So
yeah,
you don't know. I liked the series. It was really interesting. I saw the first 5 episodes. I'm writing a little bit of a blog about certain connections between this and the nurse, or with Kirk, or with Pike, or with Spock. What do you think of Spock in this one?
He's very direct.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very. He likes order. Mm-hmm. Hence, there is Spock, and that's kind of mm-hmm. saying that he might be around too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Yeah, I like it a lot.
What I like about this one is that he's not imitating Leonard Nimoy. I mean, he's bringing on his own character to Spock,
Right.
making him distinctive. But I see him. I see Spock when I see him perform. Like he has that
Yeah.
calm. This Spock has a bit of an edge to him, a little chaos, but there's still a calm of science and order. I truly like it. I saw the first 5 episodes. I kind of like went through a small binge. I'm actually compelled to watch the remaining, I think 5. I was told that the first few episodes, you're following an individual character. Like they narrate the opening. Like we had a horror story, and then we had Spock's story. You have like Non story. Non is a descendant of Khan,
Right.
which at first I forgot that Khan was suspended animation, and then he was a character that came out in the 1990s in terms of like the lore. So it's interesting how that kind of turns about. Anyways, I enjoyed it. For me. Do you recommend this series to watch?
I like it.
Now, where does this rank in terms of, because you were a fan of Deep Space Nine, Next Generation.
Yeah.
I never watched Enterprise with Scott Bakula, and I never really watched Discovery. But like in terms of like, or Voyager, where do you rank this? Where do you see this rivaling or being better than?
Just people, like a staff at Star Trek. What they have to do is get along, or else it won't work.
Yes, that's very true. Very true.
So,
Yeah. I think Roddenberry had, like the one thing they keep with Roddenberry's vision or his mantra of doing this series, like whether it's Picard, Archer, Janeway, Sisko, like whoever you have, you have a stoic, principal leading person leading a ship, and they have good values and good morals. It's a good moral compass, and they even though it's a world of a utopian world, there is a moral code, a moral ethics, and it's a positivity.
Yeah, for sure.
With great action, and there's always been a good story, A story and B story, and you feel comfortable with it. If I had to pick like who's my favorite captain, I don't have a captain who I'd say is my favorite. I said to myself, well, who would you want to have as your boss for 5 years? Would you want to have Kirk, who's, if you think about what he does, what kind of character he has? Would you want to have Archer? Would you want to have Sisko or Janeway as your boss? Or would you like to have, or would you be more comfortable having someone like Christopher Pike as your boss, knowing that you'd be stuck with him for 5 years?
Wow.
I think the one I would pick would be Pike, only because he's kind of like the fatherly figure. Like he has these dinners with his staff, with his crew, and he's very open, and he talks to them. Whereas I don't think Kirk would have that kind of like open dialogue. I mean, Picard had those poker nights with his crew,
Right.
but it was still sort of like structured. With Pike, you feel like you could just talk to him on the side and he'd be your friend.
Right.
So I like his hair.
He tells you what he thinks, which is good, rather than just not force people to do stuff.
Yeah.
When he has to make a decision. That's why I like a Pike. So.
Yeah, and just kind of gives you an idea when you watch the Shatner the original series, Kirk makes a very strong case in his defense, stands up for Pike, even though he's going through a bit of it's kind of like a jury case, like he's deliberating his case for Pike for these elder god type characters.
Right.
But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I enjoy it. And it's fascinating because we as an audience, depending on where you are, you know where this character's going. He knows where he's going, and the audience whether you watch Discovery or the old generation, we are all on the same boat, knowing that this has a trajectory in the 5 years that goes someplace, inevitably a dark place.
Yeah.
And yet they're having all these really cool stories and adventures. This is a strong recommend. I find this more entertaining and just more gripping because there's so much things going on. And if you're a fan of like old school Star Trek or any of the versions of Star Trek, there are Easter eggs, a plethora of them, like all over the place. So,
Okay.
do you recommend this?
I do recommend it. I like it. It has moral values in it.
Well, in that case, Well, happy Star Trek Day, which is September 8th. We will talk to you in a few days. I'm Ray.
And I'm Evy.
We'll talk to you later.